today I saw a TikTok and it made me get tears in my eyes because it said this season, and I'm excited because I see it with my daughter.
Mhm.
Was gonna leave, but it's like, oh, you get to have like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You get
It's a
to have
sweet,
it's
it's a
like
different
this sweet,
season.
but and I told you I'm so
Mm.
excited for mine to be adults. I don't want them to grow. The little ones now I'm like, no, no, no. I want you here with me and do all the things. But I'm excited because you get to be have this different relationship. It's a new
Mm-hmm.
part of life, and you see like your children who they are, right? And you can be a
Hmm.
part of that. So it is
I think we're
fun.
always going to be their home, and we just have to realize we're always going to be their home, even if their address is different. Welcome to the Delulu Magic Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm Paola.
And I'm Gabby, and we want to welcome everybody back that's joining us as we are heading into season 2 of this wonderful project that Paula and I decided to take on in
Yes.
2025.
And the beginning of the school year next week.
Yes, yes. So today we want to tie all of that in. We had a week that both of us were trying to see and I think ease back into routine,
Yeah, routine.
structure.
Getting things done.
What else? And for me, it felt like I needed to see what can I manage and what I don't know if I was like eliminating some things
Mhm.
or seeing exactly what I need to do. So every day it was like kind of like test, almost like too much, too little, and it was actually a lot of fun. So I love that and realizing that I was like, okay, this is almost the word is like a new season in life because I've never done this. I've
Mhm.
never actually looked at seen look at my calendar,
You just
write
go,
things
go,
down,
go.
go,
You
go,
don't
go, go,
really,
go. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
take
And
the
then I never
time.
stop. And this
Yes,
time it was like, no, like Sunday, I was like, okay, what does it look like? What do I actually need to do? And what do I need to put into place Monday? I didn't think about Tuesday,
mm-hmm.
Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Now, once I got to Monday, then I was like, okay, the next day. But um, going through that this week, it was also realizing that I am in this new season as far as me as Gabby, but of life.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us talked a lot about that. I have a college age daughter who is leaving, and she is not just leaving; she's leaving abroad for a study abroad program. So that's a big thing that I just told our momager. I was like, I don't talk about it. I'm in denial.
It's
I am that
exciting and
person. I
scary and
am. I
just
am.
like,
It's
yeah.
like I'm proud, and then I'm like I don't want to go there because I don't want to start crying, and because I'm so excited, and at the same time I know how everything's changing.
Yeah.
And then of course both well, Paula's first, her oldest is going to
So
be a
I know she's a
senior.
senior, and I feel
Yes.
like it's going to fly by.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's exciting. It's beautiful to see them grow up into like who they're becoming
Uh-huh.
and blossoming.
Yeah.
But also, we've taught them all their lives, right? Your goal is to teach them how to be independent, but now we actually have to let them go
Yeah.
and us survive them
Yes.
being
And you
dependent.
especially, like, I think good for you, like you have a couple like like she's got her license. She's going to be a senior. She's doing the college. She's doing dual
She's got her
credits.
stuff together. Yeah.
And it's I'm sure it feels like the same thing. It's like you're so proud and at the same time it's like where's the baby? Where do I just kind of let
Yeah.
me hold you
I'm like,
down
it's
and
my little butterfly, but now she's actually gonna fly and like fly off into like the world. And
yeah.
it's hard to know that you either can't, necessarily always be involved or protect them or give
Mhm.
them all this advice. And I've been telling you
Yeah.
lately, now I'm like, oh my God, I want to give you all this different advice that I
Yes.
feel like I've learned over especially the last couple years.
Mhm.
But how do you find that balance between being that person, that mom that gives the advice, but also not being that overbearing, like, okay,
Trying to
because
cram
of
it.
course,
Trying
at
to
that
cram
age,
it. Trying to cram it in.
yeah, at
It's like,
17, I thought I knew
well, of
everything.
course. Yeah, and they still do. I think well, a lot of the kids do have more information than I think we could
Oh
have
God.
possibly thought of. We knew because just we assumed we knew from experience from life, but these
Hmm.
kids have like everything. They
That is
see,
true.
they read all what the way their lives are. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Trying to it's try the word is for me that part is like trying to cram it all in, right? Because you feel like this almost like this ending is coming,
Hmm.
and it is bittersweet, because everything does change. It's
Yeah.
um I do have like my oldest son, he did leave, and we had that, and that was like almost very like, oh, very emotional and all that stuff. But then, you kind of get used to it. And then I have the other kids, but it's different when you think of like how it changes in your house. Like your
Hmm.
house will not be the same
Ugh, I
it
didn't even think of that.
when the college time comes, right? So it's already like going into new roles of like,
Yeah.
how much do I now? I'm like, I always say, just kind of like on the side. I'm here if I'm needed.
Yeah.
Not perched on my couch waiting at all times, but just kind of like I'm gonna be more of like an advisor and
Hmm.
not the hands-on. Now with the senior year, because I also have a senior, my young son, he's going to be a senior, and it's I see it a lot that I'm getting very sentimental with him.
Hmm.
With my daughter, last year, going through senior year, I didn't give myself space to be sentimental. And
Hmm.
when it came, it was a lot. Like I just got really like spring break, and I
Yeah.
is like, when I get all of it done, I want to be
Like the
with you
last
and
two
do
to
all
three
the
months.
things.
Yeah.
Yes, but because then I didn't allow myself. I suppressed because I was like, I'm fine. It's great. She's a senior. She's independent, and she's having a great time. And
Hmm.
and I didn't realize that I needed to sit and actually have those moments where I was like, okay, it is passing by so fast, and and allowing myself to have nostalgia,
Yeah.
and being okay with those moments instead of charging through like I love to do.
Yeah.
And with this one, my son, there's a lot, and I think my daughter is like, sometimes I feel like you're sarcastic, and I'm like, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm sad. I don't want him to grow. Like I feel like, how is this happening? How
How did
it's
we get
going
here
so
so quick?
fast, and
Yeah.
doing the college prep stuff, and just learning that with this, I'm being like, okay, I'm gonna be gentle with myself. I'm gonna be okay.
Hmm.
That's a lot of it today that I want to talk about. That just being gentle, and I've heard that from my therapist for years. It's just kind of holding more space for myself instead of I'm always trying to hold for
Everyone else.
everyone,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I forget that I also need to be okay with having these emotions, whether they're just, the joy, or having, this
Even the grief, the
the
sadness.
grief,
Yeah.
and already feeling like, even if it's anticipatory, yeah, that's what they call it, because you're already feeling, we
Hmm.
feel it as moms, right? Like you kind of like,
Yeah.
just just even if we call it like we're sensitive, but you're just like, okay, well, now you don't need me. Now you're gonna
Hmm.
go off like you with yours, like, now you're gonna get in the car and go, and you
Yeah.
don't need me to take you to Starbucks. You don't need me to
I
take you
know.
to go get what you need. You don't want me to go with you to Target or Ulta. Like adapting to all those changes. It's just being gentle, and especially for us as mothers, and with us
Hmm.
having all the other things happening, or hormones. It's just a lot. My gosh, I feel like I don't know who put this plan into for women, because I'm like, it's a lot.
It
It's
is
a
a
lot.
lot. It is,
Yeah.
and I think we handle a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I might think, or at least a lot of my friends in
Mm-hmm.
most households,
Yeah.
it's the woman putting, right. We want to make that last year again. Going back
Mm-hmm.
to special, like
Yes.
when we were talking about the vacations last time. I want to make the year special. I want to have a lot of little micro moments,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we are just going so fast
Mm-hmm.
paced, and so
Mm-hmm.
in the future of,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, what's going to happen when they leave, and that's
Mm-hmm.
sad
Mm-hmm.
that we don't take enough time to appreciate the moment that like sometimes like right before us.
Yeah, the being here, the
Mm-hmm.
here and now, right? So part of like for me fighting, I always think of this, hearing it a lot in over the years, but it was like, be here, be now. I had a session with my therapist yesterday, and it was like such I'm gonna call it sweet, because that's the word I told her. I feels like I'm in like in a sweet season, because I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now I'm here, but when I'm with the kids, when I'm doing the stuff, I'm there. And I said, hey, I picked up my books again. I am like not so much on social media. And she's just, her words were like, so you're living like present
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And she's like, and you're not always like in this moment of like in the future, in the past, with the regrets, with the guilt, or the forward, trying to prevent, trying to control. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not. And it's a lot. I feel light, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know this is not, I mean, but that's what I want everybody to know also. That's like, when you have it, like, it's just be in it. Be in because there's always going to be ups and downs. For me, that's how my life is.
Yeah.
And being in the
Yeah.
now,
That's
and
life.
being, again, gentle and soft, that I'm like, no, it's actually nice. And it's refreshing to not have to have, all the ruminating we've talked
Mm-hmm.
about for so long. Like right now, I feel like I have a lot of space when I'm doing this. Going back to structuring and planning and being open and gentle with myself. It feels like okay, I can do it. I can
Yeah.
take on and get through it.
That's
Right?
why I do like back to school.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sad, it's like the last, right? The last summer. So
Yeah.
part of me was like, oh, I want the summer to last like even longer to do more things. But also just with not having the structure. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice and not nice,
Yeah.
especially not nice for my ADHD. That's been like
Oh yeah.
off the charts. I'm juggling like just so much. But I also know what's important, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
time, even if I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to do, like work wise or, like other things that maybe were personal, but I did get a great amount of time, like in with the kids, and it was quality time. And I think during this, because you've had one that's
Mm-hmm.
graduated, well, two now that
Mm-hmm.
have
Yeah.
graduated, right? You're about to
Yeah.
let your second one go off into,
Yes.
right, study abroad. And this will be the first time. So I
Yes.
feel like as you were talking about some of that, part of me is in denial.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Of
like, well,
course.
I'm like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
like it hasn't started, but I see it and I see how fast just last school
Mm-hmm.
year
Mm-hmm.
like went by. What are some of the things that you do like to create some of those micro moments or that you think help you to know that, hey, it's okay to let go,
To
right?
let
Because
go.
we're also very sometimes controlling,
Of
right? We
course.
have
Of
that
course.
in us.
Yeah. I think so. With my daughter, I was in denial, and I did let go because I felt, and I hate that I have to say it that way, but I've always felt like I'm always harder on my girls in a sense that I'm like, well, it's gonna be tough, so I gotta let you figure it out.
Mm,
Me, I'm still here, but I let go. Like I was just like kind of go live, and I'm here, I'm available. But she is, we have like our relationship is like she's very independent, and I don't
yeah.
like to overstep. Like I walk on eggshells most of the time because I'm like I don't want to
I'm
annoy you. Are
scared.
you in a good mood? I mean, and I love her, but it's just I know it's so normal, and I think like I read a couple of books, and I will
Mm.
have them linked up with our show, but it's like about the is it Raising Young Girls? Remember I told you
Oh,
that's a good one to always like. I'm about to reread it again because I have my youngest daughter who's going to be a sophomore,
yes.
and she's just beginning that kind of where we're gonna start with the
The
I could see,
pulling.
and then
Mm.
where it's separation, and now I am hurting with that.
Yeah.
My gosh, I cry about this like once a week,
I know.
and but I tell her, so I never told my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now I can give you that tip, but with maybe with your oldest that do say, hey, you know what, this is my first time too, like. You're growing, I'm growing,
Yeah.
like I might be a little, because I know she's independent, I know she needs her space, but it's like, how about we kind of meet in the middle, like I might,
Mm-hmm.
what what works for you, so we can do
Who
so.
else is scared of their teenage daughter? Raise your hand.
Let me know when you're available, and I will make it happen. I mean, I'm gonna cry right now,
I
but it's,
know. I
I
know.
think just that again, finding what works for you, but being vulnerable, being
Mm-hmm.
willing to be vulnerable with
Yeah.
her, and saying, "Hey, I'm comfortable with letting you go this far, letting you do these
Mm-hmm.
things, and then right now I'm not so comfortable.
Yeah.
So give me, we're both doing it the first time.
And I think something that,
Yeah.
like, or at least that I read was, for when they do leave, or maybe even beforehand, right? Like
Yeah.
you doing special things, but where it's like, hey, on this day we're gonna talk
Yes.
like at
Yeah.
this time to
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just have
Yeah.
a powwow,
That's
or
what I
maybe we
mean.
could
That's
be
what I
like
just
cook
like
together online.
find something. You said she loves. You told me so many
Yeah.
amazing things she does. She's so creative. Just it's be
Maybe like
like,
teach me how to crochet. She'd be
yes,
like, I'm
maybe.
frustrated.
But that's a thing that I too from therapy. I remember, but it's kind of like you've got to learn who they are
Mm-hmm.
as these emerging young
And
adults,
that's so
and
beautiful to
be
see that. I'd
interested
love
in
to
their
see that.
life. And today I saw a TikTok, and it made me get tears in my eyes because it said this season, and I'm excited because I see it with my daughter
Mm-hmm.
was gonna leave, but it's like, oh, you get to have like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You get
It's a
to have,
sweet.
it's
It's a
like the
different
sweet,
season.
but and I told you I'm so
Mm-hmm.
excited for mine to be adults. I don't want them to grow. The little ones now, I'm like, no, no, no. I want you here with me and do all the things. But I'm excited because you get to have this different relationship. It's a new
Mm-hmm.
part of life, and you see like your children who they are, right? And you can be a
Mm-hmm.
part of that. So it is
I think we're
fun.
always going to be their home, and we just have to realize we're always going to be their home, even if their address is different, even if
Mhm.
they're abroad
Yeah.
or going off to college. And it's something that they were meant to go. They were never really, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
ours, right?
Yes.
Like you're given your children, and I think I've learned so much from them. Not only like, right,
Yes.
as parents, we're parenting them, teaching them, but I have just learned and grown so much just from parenting them. And like, even just like the triggers, like, right.
Mm-hmm.
But because I think you learn from anybody that
Yeah.
triggers you, right? That's why I think it's so important when you are going to have a kid or start a family, it's important to start healing beforehand, doing therapy beforehand. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I would have been a different parent. But again, everything that however I did parent, those are things that they probably needed to, learn. That's part of their experience.
Mm-hmm.
So tuning in and just, remembering that being gentle, yeah, like you said,
Yes.
with ourselves, a
Yeah.
lot, I think, of reparenting,
The
a lot of
reparenting,
reparenting.
reparenting,
Because
and
it
then
feels like rejection sometimes. I'm sure, right? When
of
you're
course
so
we just
odd
said it.
and or me and let's say it's like birthday, or I was asking my husband, do you think they're gonna come home for like every holiday? And he's like, yeah, of course. Well, of course they're
So
gonna
he's
want to be with the
assuming
family. And I'm like, man, when I was 20,
I
21,
didn't
if I
want
got
to
an
be around for
invitation
New
for
Year's Eve.
Thanksgiving for
New
whatever
Year's
or
Eve,
New
like
Year's
that's
Eve,
a big thing for them, like college kids and things, because they come maybe. I think like set start, but that's the expectations too that we
yeah,
do with our
that you have
children.
to
I don't know.
discuss,
That's
I
why
think it's
now
important.
this is the year to prepare for all of that.
Yeah.
Like I going into now, like because I didn't even have it with my daughter. Certain things. I mean, we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna go abroad, guys, and we're blessed to be able to. My husband and I decided we were gonna go to drop her off because I mean it's technically her first year in college, and we're able to do this. And me thinking it's close to my birthday, I was so excited. I was like, I you know I'll get to be over there. But wait, at the same time, my senior son, has homecoming, and I was like, last homecoming, I need to be here. I can't be gone. And so I talked to him
Mm-hmm.
because I said, "Does Are you going to go? Do you know?" And he was like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Well, are you okay if I'm not here?
Mm-hmm.
Because your sister, we're gonna take her." And he was like, "Yeah, it's no biggie, because I'll have the whole
Yeah.
rest of the year for other events and
Mm-hmm.
other dances and things." But I felt bad. I was kind of like, yeah, and then because in my head, I was like, I'm gonna go with my daughter, and we're gonna, I'm gonna have this thing. She's gonna come with us. And
It's really this
when
experience.
I said to her this week something about, we talked about, we hadn't had this conversation
Mm-hmm.
about holidays, visits, things, and this is things that maybe need to be discussed previously.
Yeah.
Um, she just looked at me like, well, I'm going to be busy with orientation and things. I don't know what you were thinking. We were doing your
It's my
birthday. Like she was
birthday.
like, go with dad. Like have your own life. Like basically, I felt it was like move on, and I just had to say to myself, don't be offended. Like I have to
Mm-hmm.
talk
Mm-hmm.
to myself. There was a lot of talking to myself. This is not about, what do I tell you? It's not about me. It's not about, all the things. It's their life. They're their own
Yeah.
person. They're growing, and there's going to be separation. And we've got to remember that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like
Yeah.
as we are, all of us are growing, getting older, and what a gift it is to be with our children, to be having these conversations, these things happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was okay. Of course my feelings were hurt, and I told you about it and all that. But then I was like, hey, you know what? She's right. She's right. I have to like actually show her, what do I want? Now I think a lot about that. What do I
Mm-hmm.
want my kids to do for themselves as well when they're parents? Like I want them to
Absolutely.
be able to say, hey, you know what? I love my children, but I also can love myself and let
Mm-hmm.
them be who they need to be, whether they need to be far, whether they need to be close,
Yeah.
whatever supportive system I need to be, without making it about myself,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Absolutely.
Because we tie it into so much about my hurt feelings. like
Why would you not want to spend my birthday?
I had all my mind, a magical. It
We're
was fun though
celebrating
too.
abroad. I think it's a really dangerous thing when we tie our identity to anything, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us do, right? Our
Yeah.
identity and our worth,
Mm-hmm.
more so, right? Like to
Mm-hmm.
motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tie mine a lot to definitely. Well, I still
Yeah.
tie it, I think, to motherhood, but also to success.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when those things go away, right? Whether it's success or work,
Yeah.
or right, you had a
Yeah. Yeah.
certain position and you felt really great, and now all of a sudden, right, if you don't have that position and you've tied your worth to that,
Mm-hmm.
you feel that loss. It's like you don't know who you are, and that can be something that is hard to deal with. And also the same with motherhood. It can't, and since I've got two girls,
Mm-hmm.
I also want to emulate like the best possible way for them to learn from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of how they can be when they're, parents as well. And I'm sure they're going to be even better,
Of course.
parents,
Yes.
and like, right, they're going
Yeah.
to have so many different resources and tools, and they're amazing. But the fact that I want them to see that yes, I have other things that I enjoy,
Well,
that I
yeah,
can do outside of them, and not where it's my happiness is just tied to them.
yeah.
Right? Because then that becomes like, obviously you're super sad. It's not really like an empty nest. I think we have to change the
Well,
way we
I
see
think
that.
like I've heard about a lot about. I know people call it like the kind of. I love that. It's like the revolving door. I love that. And then it's kind of like an open. Now for me, I feel like an open door because it's like we
Hmm.
go. You're gonna go in and out. Like I think most people kids are gonna go to college and they will come home to visit. And they'll
Hmm.
be maybe like, hey, these are the days I do expect you to, but not the empty. I don't like the empty because I feel like that just makes us even go into that dark spot of like, oh, I don't have anything,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
for
all I
sure.
did all this time
There's
and
maybe new
and
opportunities. I
and
think it's
yes,
different
yeah.
opportunities to.
And you saying all that, it makes me think of like the weight it puts on the children because they're like, oh my gosh, my mom is I if I'm not around, what is going to happen to her? Like she can't that's a lot
Hmm.
because I come from a family of where my parents were very much centered even into adulthood
Yeah.
and above my own family,
Hmm.
my own children because I just was what do they need? What do I how does my life how do I accommodate to them? And that was a heavy weight
Hmm.
that I just got rid of a few years ago. And so I try to be think very aware of that with myself about with my children like I don't want them to feel like I that is
Their
that I am their
expectation.
responsibility,
Yeah.
that I whatever they decide is because of for me.
Hmm.
And so it's learning and now a lot more of just sitting and thinking and reflecting. Oh, I've been doing because Paula recommended that. And I did do that a couple of days, the 10 minutes where I was like, I'm just going to sit. I don't need a book.
Yeah.
I don't need my phone. I don't need a distraction. And
Hmm.
I just sit. And, a lot of calm has come from those 10 minutes.
Yeah. Even if you're not like
You're just because
meditating
I'm
or
just
just like,
listening and it
yeah.
becomes like a meditate. Well, you said
Yeah.
this to me, no? Like that
Yeah.
you almost feel like it becomes, or if you're doing something,
Yeah, like, because you're like just zoned into doing that, or even if it's just daydreaming,
that
right?
it
Like you're
just
just
kind of
sitting
calms
there
the brain
doing
and
nothing. Because how
the
many times
heart.
do we actually sit there and just be bored? Nobody's
Yeah.
bored anymore. Our kids are always,
Yeah.
like on their phone. I'm always,
Of
on
course.
the phone, like everybody. If I'm not on the phone, or you're watching
Oh,
TV,
now
or
we're
you're doing
looking
the
for
chore.
boredom. No,
Yeah, now we're looking for.
where can I be
So
bored?
yeah, like at least 10 minutes a day. I'm trying to like just disconnect from,
And
even if I'm not
it was
meditating.
felt good because I needed it this week. Going into going back to that I had some structure every day, and then I was like, I need to actually not that I need to, but I want to sit with my feelings about
Hmm.
these things that are happening right daily, and it kind of gave me like my own little mini version of like my own therapy and seeing things maybe from a different perspective,
Yeah.
which I find sometimes funny because I think I get a lot of that, but I'm always listening to stuff. Man, I cram my time from the moment I stand up. I'm like, no, the phone this week I didn't actually touch it in the mornings. Wow, good for me. But
I like.
usually yes, from the moment it's like okay, either I'm gonna like do like I do a devotional right
Hmm.
now. If not, I after that once I get my coffee, then I do like the news. I'll do like I give myself only 10 to 15 minutes max
Hmm.
of looking at news and stuff, and then go to head to work. I've got a podcast on, or I've got a
I'm gonna
audiobook
be
on, or
learning.
all this stuff. Yes. And sometimes this week, I had a few days that I was like, I'm going to play music because I don't need to be learning all the time. I could just listen and be in the moment of music. So it's
I
good to have those
I
moments.
read something the other day and I was like, that's so weird. I never actually even thought of this. And it was like, you should research something, just learn something, get online and learn something. But for the sake of learning it, like when was the last time you actually like tried to learn something, but for the sake of just
Mm,
learning it and not like necessarily,
I
let's say
love
for
those doing that.
work or because you're trying to
That I
apply it
had a
to
purpose.
yourself? Yeah, like for a purpose.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know the last time I actually did that.
How
Like it's
fun.
always for a purpose. Like I need it for either work, I'm researching
Oh, a
products
top.
or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, so see, that's something we're learning right now, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll do that when they graduate, though. I got a lot of other stuff to do.
I don't have time to learn for no purpose, for
For
no
no, for right
meaning.
now, I gotta learn
But
for
we
purpose.
do. Speaking of that, of meaning, I talked to Paula this week, and I just kind of we've kind of been told for us, I don't maybe all of
Mhm.
society that you're gonna have balance, and I was like, I just between me and my chatita, which is my chat GPT, and then my friend Paula, and we talked and all that, and I was like, I just can't do balance,
Mm-hmm.
like because that is my personality. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are able to do that, and I don't know, maybe because you've
I
like
don't
highly
know.
evolved, but I find right now that I just want to more live in like, because I'm always feeling behind
Mm-hmm.
when I try to
Mm-hmm.
do balance. Because then I'm like, there you go, you have your whatever, how many in the pie, all the things. I remember one time I had to sit and do that, and I was like, I'm lacking like way over there. And I felt awful, because I just
You feel like you're
felt like,
failing. You always feel
how?
like you're
And
failing.
and it was a
'Cause you're always behind.
continuous, yeah,
Yeah, it's
cycle
a
for
loop.
me. So yes, you could tell us a little bit about that. But right now I was like, okay, more meaning. Like I want to do more what's meaningful. That's when I said about like what are just the important things right now. What
Mm-hmm.
season am I in life, right? And obviously the season is of this of my children growing, and we're going through a lot of things. And me learning to be in a different stage of being a mother, and also reflecting on like, okay, where does work, how much work do I want to have,
Mm-hmm.
is it the most important right now, or my things that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
which are like my projects, my like this, is that more, where does
Yeah.
where has the most meaning right now, because that's what I really want to lean into,
Mm-hmm.
having meaning
Yeah.
instead of balance, because I don't know that I will be the person that can say
Can
it.
ever achieve that like full balance. Yeah. I don't even know if
Because
that's
I
a
don't
myth
know how much that
though.
matters. I feel like I want to have more meaning and like
Mm-hmm.
a life of like experience and
Yes.
doing,
Yes.
instead of just being like, oh, I have it all. Like, I did my work. Like we talked about, guys, our dream day that, we'll start August 11th and
That's
August
right.
13th.
And keep on a play by play a day. Shit, I'm just happy if I get out of bed on time.
You
I'm like, I've
did.
got out of bed. I'm so
I
excited
love
at the
it
time
though.
I said I was gonna get out of bed.
It is hard. It is hard. Yeah,
But
that
it's hard if
going
you don't have like something like
the
pressing
meeting.
that where you're like, I have to be at this location or at this office. That's I think the hard part about like working from home or
Yeah.
it just makes it more difficult to get stuff done.
So
And
you,
I think that's
yeah.
whether you have ADHD or not. I think just in general. But if you have ADHD, it's on a whole other level. I'm like, I don't need to take the dishes out of the dishwasher right now. But I'm like, that's the only thing I can think of. I gotta go take the dishes and like let's put some more in there. And I'm like, I don't want to go do that admin. Let me go do this other little thing.
There
Like
was so
it is
many
crazy.
things that are the way our brains work, and we'll call it. I mean, it is. I love, now I'm gonna be positive about it because I do love the way my brain is about things. I can
For
do a
sure.
lot, right? But yeah,
I'm
putting,
adaptable. We're creative.
yeah,
Like I think we're super
see
strategic and
outside.
creative. Like I'm glad that I have ADHD, even as long as I can control it. And it's just like
Hmm.
when I sometimes forget the tools or it's like too much
Yeah.
going on. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is just the ADHD loop. This is why I'm like in freeze because it's so much because
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think we give ourselves so many tasks. And even this is ADHD. We're talking about kids, but now we like got into ADHD.
Just
This
keep
is
up,
our
guys.
mind.
Keep up. But it ties in because listen, I will tie it in for you because you have to remember you'll throw in a lot of that in there of the kid stuff, and then you
On
will
top of
just get
their stuff.
stuck on that and that hyper focus, and then you forget, you know. So like almost kind of like learning to be where like where does the mind need to be for now? The mind and the heart and
Hmm.
the spirit, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just gentle, more like it's okay.
And I think
I
even
did the things.
with the ADHD, like I've
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself, which is crazy, like the smallest task, like great, just get out of bed at 6:30. You're winning if you did
Yes.
that, great.
Yes.
But now and then I just give myself 3 tasks for the day. And I think one of the tasks is that I'm starting to do is not just, hey, productivity or work, but what do I want to find
Mhm.
meaning in?
Yeah.
So it's whether
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm gonna spend just 30 minutes one-on-one time with them.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think we have to do so much,
No.
has to be this
No.
whole experience. But it's just
Because
like
we took it
locking
too
in and
far.
listening. Always, always so extreme. One extreme or the other extreme. And just being like, oh, great. You're telling me your teachers' names.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
forget.
Yeah. Of course. Of
No, I
course.
have a good memory. I'm gonna be probably like Delulu. I have a great memory, but I have juggling a lot, and sometimes it might slip. So like, I'll actually write it in the notes so that now I
Mhm.
can remember. Okay, your
Me
math teacher,
too.
so that
Me
I can
too.
be like, hey, how's
Yes.
Miss so and
Yes.
so? Because
Yes. Yes. Oh my
there's so
gosh.
many teachers.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then
Like,
things change, and you're like, gotta keep up,
so
growing
many
then with the
students.
friend stuff and
Yeah.
the activities, and you better. That's why meaning, like finding like that purpose, kind of like, okay, this is where I want my focus for the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we're both in it together, but it's like, okay, I definitely want to have that space, and that should be maybe part of our tasks. That I want this in my life, so I know it has to be put into.
Mm-hmm.
things that are important right now.
Yeah.
And some things are gonna be okay, waiting, or maybe they just don't need to be happening, because
For
they take
sure.
up so much of our space and consume us,
Mhm.
and that we go into that freeze, or we go into avoidance, or we suppress, and then
Yeah.
here comes the reality, and it's just
And freeze
we hit
feels
a
so
wall.
weird because you don't realize that you're
You're
like,
doing it.
yeah,
Oh no, I have right
I'm
now,
trying to
please.
give
We talked
myself.
about this. My closet is like and I know about it. See, like it sits in my head like 5 times a day, and I'm like, I should really. And I've told myself this like 2 months, and I've done. I already did it, cleaned it twice this
Oh
summer,
yeah, me too.
and it's just still like
It still
right
feels
now. I'm
better than
like,
it
well,
was.
fall's coming. I'll just put away all the summer stuff, and it doesn't matter. But it does because it stays and takes up a little chunk of my head. Then I have to say, does it? In the end, is it really important that I have this sorted? Probably for my ADHD would be great not to have clutter,
Yeah.
but then that's not what I want to spend my energy and my time on. Like I want to be, reading
More
my book,
intentional, like.
and I want to go sit outside and be bored.
Hmm.
I want to go have whatever I'm going to eat, and like actually
Yeah.
look at my food I'm eating instead of just cramming it in.
I think one of the things too is like, especially like in the last year of like right before kids leave, it's also maybe, it's spending more time. Like I'm going to be doing something where it's like, hey, like every other week or once a month, like teaching them some type of work, maybe focus on this life skill.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe a lot of
But
parents already did, but I don't feel like I did enough of it because it just came up so fast. I'm like, how are we a senior already? Like we were just starting high school. Like
no.
what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But doing, maybe some of that, having her teach me, I don't know, I have a lot of ideas.
And
So we'll see how,
we'll see.
I'll see how they roll over with
well,
her. She's like,
we'll do a recap in a couple of months, and be like, where is the life lessons? Maybe you need to have one for us. Things that, and I have seen a lot of, like, I do see a TikToks, like there's things that will say, hey, these are things that definitely show them how to do. Especially it depends on like their living arrangements,
yeah,
all that stuff
yeah.
too, because a lot of kids, I think they kind of go and think it's going to be really
Maybe
easy.
I could just go up and wash her clothes for her so I can
No,
just see
you're
her.
not.
No,
I
I'm
knew
just
you
kidding.
were gonna
I'm just
say that.
kidding.
She's gonna be like, no sleepovers, no coming unannounced.
No,
Just,
I'm like, what I just did? I'm doing a Popeye.
but I'm here because I missed
Just
you.
kidding.
Don't you miss me? Yeah, guys. Yeah. So,
Oh gosh.
as just a reminder, if anybody else is going through, or just be gentle with yourself, and
Hmm.
let some of the softness come in about seasons of life, and know that it's
Hmm.
okay. I like that you said about work too, or like how we have all these identities we put on ourselves,
Hmm.
and having them taken from us. It could be, almost like, I feel like, a chance to find,
Hmm.
hey, what is really where I want to be, or what's next. Go research for no reason, and you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, new
You know,
hobbies, new things that can bring yourself
be yeah, just
joy. I want to learn how to make bread, like thing you sent me. I was
yeah,
like, I want
yeah.
to learn like to garden, just so many
I love
different
that
things.
thing. It said things like, it was sent this to her, and it was something like, recommend things for people that are just getting into happiness.
Hmm.
I was like,
That's so
how incredible that. And people, what is it? You love that one. That
that.
it was like, just learn how to bake bread, just for the
Hmm.
smell. And I like the one, the juicy, the one, because it reminded me of you about the sunsets. I
Oh,
just take
I did.
sunsets every
Yeah.
day. It makes me happy. I have a whole folder, and I was like, and it was beautiful sunsets,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I was like, those are things like we don't think about, because we're so focused on these other roles, or making it that's who we are, and
Hmm.
we forget to look inside, and figure out
Yeah.
what it is, who we are.
And I also
So
think we try to make it things so big. So especially like with senior year, you can get really caught up in Instagram and TikTok and like the baskets, the backs to school. I mean, I'm making one, and typically I wouldn't,
I
because
love
in my
that.
head
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
we're just going back to school. Everybody got to go back to school. Like I wasn't getting a basket before.
I know,
That's
but
sad.
I'm so proud of
But
you,
also
though.
I'm like, oh, but it is
It's
special.
special.
Like, do we have to do this every year? It was like it. I feel like the expectations on parents. It's the U.S. like it is the myth of normal. Like really, like this is not normal. All
Mm-hmm.
this what we our
Mm-hmm.
expectations of ourselves, what we compare ourselves to. Like even for them, I know it has to be
Oh, I
extremely
know, I
hard.
know, I
But is
know.
it for moms too?
And with girls, I think so. That's the thing I would tell you, because I had a boy and a girl. Boy was like a piece of
Hmm.
cake, walk in the cake. It felt like, for me. And again, where we are, the stuff of the schools that they attend, all that stuff. But with my oldest, like he was the COVID kid, so he the 2021 graduate class, and we were all just glad they got to do stuff in the end, like towards
Mm-hmm.
after spring break, and it was they had like a couple of events, and they were very special, but it was nothing like oh my daughter, it was like kickoff. I mean, it was like decorate the car, and I love it now when I look back. I'm like it was
Yeah.
so cool, but it was a lot for the girls. It's
Yeah.
the
Or even
t-shirts,
like the
the things, the events, the dances, all the stuff, and the senior sunrise, senior sunset,
yes, that's this
senior,
weekend.
pajama day, all the schools once they start doing the applications, the pictures,
Yeah.
everybody's like grad parties,
And then
all
the
that
grad
stuff.
parties,
Yes,
it's
those are
like,
yeah,
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 like big
yes,
cutouts of these kids. I'm
yeah,
like, I'm gonna do
yeah.
it too, but
I'm gonna do it.
but don't, do what you can. Don't put such, I think so we get so caught up in the event that then
We forget about
we
the
or
moment.
we're
Yeah,
yelling and we're
yeah, yeah.
stressed and it's like your kid can see that. And the way if you can make it a good experience, then when they go off and they have,
Mm-hmm.
their
Yeah,
kids, they can I think reflect on that
yeah.
versus them being like, "Oh, this is normal," like being all stressed out. And the reason I say this is yesterday, completely off topic, but I was with my dad, and my dad will do a topic on this, is somebody that can really trigger me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned the people that trigger you the most are the people that you can learn from the
Mm-hmm.
most. And there was one moment where he was like super emotionally dysregulated because he took a wrong turn and then he
Something
was like, we
happened.
were going to run behind. And I was like, it's fine. And usually he would trigger me by being in
Mm-hmm.
that state. Like, I'm going to, it's like we kind of just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
this. But I like took a breath and just seeing him so emotionally dysregulated for a long time. He was in the car with
Oh.
me. I'm driving and I'm like, I'm gonna try to make conversation. I point something out and he'd like give me a 1 word or 2 word answer. And I was like, how would I not have learned that? I used to function in that same way, maybe not to that extreme, but in that same way. And I used to let my kids see that if something happened and oh God, and they could see me being dysregulated. And all of a sudden I went from normal to like the super anxious
Quickly.
person. Right. And
Yeah.
they kind of would look and I would see them sometimes. Of course, you learn from your parents, and I don't want to continue showing them that. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to see this could be an experience. Yes, I'm going to be emotional. Yes, I'm going to have grief, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also going to have joy. But I'm going to try to keep as emotionally regulated and talk to myself so that it doesn't like create this tense environment because I want to throw you this awesome party or make this thing so special, but because it's not going exactly the way I want, or maybe you're not as appreciative, right? Because as
Yes.
we have
Yes.
kids,
Yes.
that's going to happen
Yeah.
as I'd like you to be, then I'm going to be emotionally dysregulated. And that
Mm-hmm.
just throws the whole thing off because you're doing it to make something special. But if everyone's tense and angry because you're like
You forget the
all
whole
annoyed,
thing, the whole meaning of it, right?
yeah,
Like
then
forgetting, like all what's supposed to matter is the time together and this and it whatever meaning, whatever
yes,
celebration you're doing, but that's what is the point. So
yes,
getting sticking to the point is that we have
yeah.
to give.
Or when you find
Yeah.
yourself, because we're all going to
Yeah.
get there. Sometimes I step away and I'm like, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go take like a
Mm-hmm.
quick whatever call and I go sit in the car for 10 minutes
Oh my gosh, that's so
to
good.
regulate
Yeah.
so that I don't stay in that same state, And I think it's bound to happen for all parents,
I
especially
know.
all moms that juggle everything. You guys are amazing. And good luck to all the teachers that are going back to school as well, because I don't know how you handle actually moms and being a teacher.
Mm.
Incredible.
Do you
So,
mean yeah, the roles? Yes, yes. So everybody
yeah,
try to just let's start this season, with some
grace.
grace, yes, and just trying to do what we can for ourselves so we can be okay for the rest of the crew.
Yes.
So we remember nothing changes unless you do.
So stay Delulu and make it happen. Thank you for subscribing and liking.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.